Today is the 26th of April 2023, and today marks the global release of Hoyo's new game, Honkai Star Rail. Now, I've been looking forward to this game for a couple of months. I've not been following it particularly closely. I've mainly just been looking forward to it coming out because I really like Hoyoverse's games, but unless I pick them up from the very start, I'm not going to be super into them. Like, Honkai Third Impact's gameplay is really good, but there's so much to learn because of how many years the game has been, up and running. It's really hard to just kind of jump in and know what to do. And Genshin Impact I've been playing since day one, so the fact I'm still playing it is honestly shocking enough. But alas, we finally have Star Rail. Now, Star Rail is a little bit different to what Hoyoverse normally do, in the fact that it is actually a turn-based RPG, which is really, really weird. But I'll be honest, I kind of really like the fact that it's a turn-based RPG, because don't get me wrong, action RPGs are fantastic and I love them and they are very fun. But sometimes you need a game that just goes on the other monitor that you can play pretty much just with a mouse, although admittedly you do have to move with WASD. And you kind of just want to sort of play and sort of turn your brain off a little bit, unless you're like super into strategy. Me personally, I like to just have a game on my second monitor while I'm, I don't know, doing work or something. It's really nice to have, and this game kind of fills that slot. Now, as with all good mobile turn-based RPGs, even though I'm not technically on mobile, but it is available on mobile and PC. I'm currently playing on PC at the moment, but I have tried the mobile version, it works just as well. There is a lovely auto button, which is absolutely fantastic, because let's be honest, some days you don't want to have to do anything, and at some point in the future, I will make sure I will try and develop some kind of half-decent AFK build, and if I don't do it, I'm 100% certain someone else will. So, for anyone that has not seen the gameplay of Star Rail, this is literally it. So you have 4 characters in your party. Each character has an ult. They have a single target skill. Well, they have a basic attack and they have a skill and an ultimate, obviously. A single attack is a pretty standard press the button, you do damage type of deal. When you do the single attack, you get an extra point. Now, your skills do not have cooldowns, or at least the ones that I currently have do not have cooldowns. However, they do require a point to be used of energy. So you need to balance how often you use skills with how often you use basic attacks. Now, on the flip side, we also have ults. Now, I'm sorry this is going to be a massive waste of an ult, but ults you can do pretty much whenever. So there we are, that ult doesn't actually do damage, but it is a massive speed buff, which is very important because of this thing over here. We have a fairly simple action table. Now, the quicker your character is, the more often they'll show up on this table. And from top to bottom, it'll go in order of who goes next, essentially. So that is the basics of combat for the most part. Let me see if I can find something else to beat up, and I can try and demonstrate the break system a little bit. Here we are, we have, just a casual enemy. So this is the sort of exploration type deal. From the looks of things, it's going to be very sort of linear exploration. It's nothing like Genshin, which I'm okay with, because it's kind of the middle ground of what Honkai Third is and what Genshin is, whereas Genshin is completely open world at all times, with the exception of dungeons, whereas Honkai, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty much always just sort of fighting arenas for the most part, with some linear levels sprinkled in between. But then again, I've not put a lot of time into Honkai, so at Third Impact, so I can't really say too much. But alas, the main sort of exploration system is you can do one of two things. You can, walk around, you can run, all that stuff. Then you can basic attack to get, essentially, ambush the enemy. You can also have a skill through the use of E, and it all depends on who is what. So for instance, for this character, who is your male MC, you press E, he will heal the entire party. Now you can only do this a set amount of times, or you can be March 7th. I don't know why she's called that, she just is. And then you can do this, although you do actually need to be targeting the person for that to work, so let's just pretend I did it. And if you hit them with a weakness, you start the battle with a special effect going. Now, the break system is a fairly standard system, I feel, in turn-based RPGs. In this one, it's a little bit different, but I like how it's implemented. So the way it works in this game is essentially, this white section is the break bar. Now, if you can make this go fully yellow, that means it's about to be broken. However, if it goes, you know, if it's still half white, then it's not yet broken. So let me just demonstrate.
No manners, huh?
Everything died. Slightly inconvenient, but everything's kind of is a low level, and I'm a little bit higher, and I'm not very far into the game as of yet. I'm just trying to explore what's available. But essentially, when you break apart, when you break someone's gauge, they take more damage and their action is reduced. So in terms of the combat, the game is fairly simple to get to grips with, but I imagine there's plenty of strategy. So characters in Star Rail are a little bit different, but not completely. They all have a basic attack, fairly standard. They all have a talent, again, fairly standard. They all have an ult. They all have a skill depending on what it does, and then they also have a technique. Techniques are your E, which unfortunately I can't use because I've actually used them all. But yeah, every character has a basic attack, an ultimate, a skill, a passive, and a technique which they use on the field. In terms of stats, honestly, it's very similar to what you'd be used to in something like Genshin Impact. You've got HP, attack, defense, speed. Speed is a new one. Then you've got the classic crit rate and crit damage, which I'm just going to love seeing how people maximize. Then you've got break effects, so it looks like you could possibly design a particular character to just stack weakness break. Healing boost, maximum energy. Energy required for character to unleash ultimate, you know, standard stuff. Effect hit rate, basically the chance of applying stuff like freeze. You know, the chance to resist, and then, you know, physical damage boost, all the damage boosts and all the resistance boosts you can ever want in any game ever. Now this is a weird one. I don't know how I feel about this, just because I like visually seeing a weapon. This doesn't feel like it has any impact. That might just be me, but I don't like that you don't see any changes in their weaponry with this stuff, because this is the weapons in the game. So yeah, it's a little weird. I don't love it, but it's, you know, it's a pretty standard weapon system. You equip it, it gives you flat stat upgrades, and then you also have passives and abilities that come along with it. So this one is the following effects only work on characters of the path of preservation. So depending on your character's assigned path, you cannot equip other light cones or weapons. So for instance, this person is not Path of the Hunt, so they can equip it, but it is pretty much not worth the hassle. Every character has an element, so we've got lightning, physical, fire, ice, wind, quantum, and imaginary. You know, and every element has a weakness. And then everyone belongs to a different path, which is pretty cool. So I think that's a pretty nice system. Weapon system, pretty standard, same as Genshin's from the looks of things. You enhance to level 20, and then once it reaches level 20, you can upgrade it. And then you've also got the refinement. Again, if you've played Genshin Impact, you probably know what you're getting in for with this one. Traces. Now, this is a little bit different to what you'd see from Genshin. Essentially, it is just a skill tree, which you can upgrade. You know, this is for her talent, this is for her skill. Basic attack. It's very similar to how Genshin's works, but with a little bit extra tacked on. So for instance, look, you can unlock basic bonus abilities. Skill has a 20% chance to increase base chance to shock enemies, and all this kind of stuff. But this, you know, requires a lot more leveling and a lot more money and a lot more items that I am nowhere near getting. But I think the skill tree is a nice sort of mix. I don't know what the max is going to be for everything, however. Maybe it's 10 again, I don't know. But I think it's a cool addition. Might be awful to max out though. Who knows? It's far too early to know. And then Eidolons is essentially just constellations. So characters, to be honest, if you've played Genshin Impact, you kind of know what you're getting yourself in for. A lot of it is fairly sort of exchangeable for the most part. I will say, I love that whenever you go into the menu, depending on which character you have, they all just go on their phone and they all have a different phone assigned to them. It's just such a neat little detail that is so unnecessary, but I think is really cool. Again, this is just Genshin Impact's rehashed UI, which I don't have anything against. I like Genshin's UI for the most part. It's fairly easy to navigate once you get used to it. We have the Starlight Exchange, which I'm guessing is the shop that resets every 30 days, possibly. Again, the game's been out one day. It's really hard to kind of figure out where we are with everything. So these look to be characters. I have no idea. Oh, these are light cones. They're 5 stars, which is nice. Because I'm pretty sure 5 star, I would assume, is the maximum. And Genshin doesn't let you just outright buy 5 star weapons. Here we go. And then we have the classic buy 5 at the end of the month type of deal. Unfortunately, I don't have any of these because I've not done any wishes. So I'm going to need to sort that out. We've got these again. They're basically adventurous supplies. To be honest, they're terrible in Genshin. I imagine they're not going to be great here either. Here's your exchange rate for shards and whatnot. Are these just basically, these are just Genesis crystals and these are just Primo gems. I'm sorry for making all the Genshin Impact comparisons, but as you can see, like they're priced exactly the same. The shop is exactly the same. The design is basically identical. It's just new gameplay systems. To be honest, I'm okay with that because for the most part, Genshin's shop interface and everything, I'm quite happy with it. It's quite clean. It's easy to navigate for the most part, and I'm so used to it by now that I know what I'm looking for, and it will make sort of converting to this game a little bit easier as well. We've got achievements, pretty standard. I know people love hunting for achievements. It's really satisfying to see how big you can get this number. I also really like the design of just this area in general. It's really clean. We've got what is essentially events. So this is the daily login bonus for the next 7 days. We've got this sort of encouragement to make sure you actually level, which is nice. We have this, which just unlocks you new stuff once you actually progress through the game. Again, it's just something to sort of boost your account from the beginning. This, which is just, you get to trial different characters. She, by the way, kind of really want to pull for, because her basic attack, if she kills with her basic attack, she gets an extra turn, which seems absurd to me. And this is Jingchu, who at some point I will have to try and unlock. I'm guessing this isn't too difficult to do, but I don't know because I just don't know anything about the game. I'm sorry. You got the guide. Again, something a lot of games have, Genshin being one of them, I'm afraid. Team setup. We do only have 6 teams to pick and choose from. I really hope they increase the number of this at some point. 6 is just not enough, but for now it'll do because I don't think there's that many characters in the game. I think it's about 23. Inventory, honestly, you know what to expect at this point. I believe this is gear, which I don't think I've unlocked yet, which honestly is probably for the best. I'm guessing it's going to be just like, I presume it's just going to be like artifacts. I'll have to wait and see on that one. Map, you know, pretty standard. You got chests you need to find. I'm glad they tell you how many are actually in the area you need to do. You can teleport to what is essentially healing shrines. This is your resin. Again, haven't found a reason to use it yet. I'm just not far enough into the game. Missions, we've got quests, you know, pretty standard stuff. Honestly, just all stuff you would expect to see. If you played Genshin for more than 10 hours, you know exactly what you're looking at here. And then most excitingly, we have the wishes, or in this case, the warps. Now that I have knowledge of Genshin Impact, I know full well not to ever do the standard warp, because the regular warp, just like the standard banner in Genshin, I'm going to presume is a banner that never goes anywhere and is always available, which means if you're pulling on it, you're essentially wasting your chances of getting a new unique character, unless you really want someone in this set. Now what's nice is that once you've done 300 warps, you can just pick whoever of these people you want. Unfortunately, it requires 300 pulls, which at this point is fairly rough. Unfortunately, this can also only be done once. Not too sure of what the actual pity is for this. Okay, so every 90 warps, you're guaranteed a 5-star or low cone. Again, it's just Genshin's rehashed data. This is the weapon banner. I feel like it's too early in the game to even know if the weapon banner is worth doing. And just like in Genshin, we do have 2 separate sets of warp tokens. So if you have these, you can spend them on the standard warp by the looks of things, but there is this one up here which is cheaper. You have these ones which can be used for the timed ones. Now, I do kind of really want Seal. I don't know if I can get my heart broken this early on in the game though. But I've not actually pulled anything yet, so I'm going to give this a try. And I do kind of want to know if this contributes to the additional reward or not. So let's have a look. Let's find out. I've not even seen the pull animation. Oh yeah, other than that one character that make you pull. I will say, Hoyoverse, as per usual, absolutely knocked it out of the park with the animations. The animations in the game are stellar. They are fantastic. I kind of hope they add some kind of skip alt option, because I can see that getting very tiring very quickly. But again, it's not something you can do in Genshin, but in Genshin it kind of makes sense because everything is timed around cooldowns and stuff. Whereas in this game, it isn't applicable to time. So we've got a light cone, a light cone. Again, I have no idea if any of these are good. They're just 3 stars. I guess they're nice to have. We've got a 4-star light cone, which is nice. Are we going to get any characters? We got literally 0. Okay, that was terrible. Did this count? It did not. Okay. Unfortunately, this does not count towards the set base, but at 50 warps, you get a free 5-star. So, I mean, we kind of have to. Right? Like, we have to. One thing I've not talked about, because I've not paid any attention to it, because I have 0 interest in it, and I'm sorry, I'm just not the kind of person to be interested in the game story, and I'm sorry, it seems interesting, but I know it's going to be just like Genshin's, where I get slightly interested and then I stop paying attention. But unfortunately, there is no skip story option, which kind of sucks. I really wish they would just implement one, because Honkai has a skip button. But alas, we must wait evermore. I'll be honest, I was just about to say, where the bloody hell are my new characters? So we got Sushang now. Cool. Be nice to have some more light cones. I don't really know if any of these are good. Unfortunately, that's just... Right, one more. I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on doing all 50 pulls, because I didn't think it would include a free 5-star, but since it does, I'm kind of just forcing it, to be honest. Anything of use? Not by the looks of things. New 4-star, I'll take it. Okay, I won't deny, I just wasted my gems to get the last 10 warps, but I wanted to get this video out on a relatively timely fashion, and I didn't know how much longer it would take me to get the other 6 I think I needed. So honestly, I can take the small hit. It's fine. There aren't too many characters in the game anyway, so it's not a massive deal as it stands. And also, it's for a free 5-star. It's worth it. The earlier we get a 5-star, the better we can perform in the long term, question mark, I guess. Let's see if we get anything half decent, shall we? Again, love the animations. The animations are fantastic. I'm pretty sure when they say a free 5-star, I'm pretty sure they mean, I think they said 5-star character. So if I got a 5-star weapon, I'd be very displeased. Ooh, you look very cool. I don't know what happened to my voice there. You look very cool. Yes, you are getting added to the team, and you're not even a 5-star. Let's go. Oh, here we go. Oh, I was worried it would be this one. I was like, you could give me any of the 5 stars, just not the weird Finding Dory character. She might be amazing. Let's have a look. Is she amazing? I won't deny her design is cool. She does 50% lightning damage with her basic. Her ult heals all allies for 9% of her health. She applies invigoration to allies that are not already invigorated. Okay, so the heal is nice. And then heal. After using the technique, all allies are granted invigoration. After an ally with invigoration is hit, restores the ally's HP for 3.6% of Bailu's max HP plus 36. This effect can trigger twice. Wait, whoa. When an ally receives a killing blow, they will not be knocked down. Bailu immediately heals the ally for 12% of their max HP, of her max HP plus 120 HP. This can be triggered once per battle. That's insane. What? I'm sorry, I'm not the only one that thinks that's madness. You just get a free get out of jail free card. That's absurd. Okay, I take it back. Bailu actually seems really bloody strong. Fair enough. Wind damage 50%, deals wind damage equal to 96% of his attack to all enemies with a 100% base chance to increase the target's damage over time taken by 20%. Ooh, cool. Attacks have a 65% base chance to inflict wind shear for 3 turns. Enemies inflicted with wind shear will take wind damage over time equal to 20% of his attack at the beginning of each turn. It can be stacked up to 5 times. You can do 100% of his attack. Deals wind damage equal to 28% of his attack to a single enemy, and further deals damage for 4 extra times, with each time dealing wind damage equal to 28% of his attack. After he uses the technique, enemies in a set area are inflictable blind for 10 seconds. Blinded enemies cannot detect your team. When initiating combat against a blinded enemy, there is a 100% fixed chance to delay all enemies' actions by 20%, 25%. That seems really good. I'm not going to lie. I don't care. He looks cool. He has 2 like dagger things. He's going in whatever team I'm building next. He looks really cool. Awesome. So there goes my 50 pulls. Now I can ignore this banner forever until they give me some more of these free ones. And we can start saving for this one. Will I pull for it? I don't really know. I've tried out the trials for these 3. I don't really care for them. She seems really cool. We'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, that's Star Rail in a nutshell. Honestly, the game clearly borrows a lot from Genshin Impact, which makes a lot of sense because Genshin Impact is MiHoYo's or Hoyoverse's, whatever you want to call them, just absolute cash cow. The game makes so much money, it's absolutely absurd. It makes sense that they would make a game that is very similar, at least in some aspects. The gameplay is completely different, but like some of the UI design is very, very similar. And that's okay. They know a lot of their players are going to be coming over from Honkai 3rd Impact or Genshin, so it makes sense that they'd want something that their already existing players are used to so that they don't have to have this weird, awkward period of, oh, I don't know what to do. But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I'm hoping that it receives plenty of support over time. To be honest, with Hoyoverse, that's not usually an issue. They are very good at sort of keeping their games relevant and up to date. Star Rail, as a turn-based RPG, I think is a solid addition to their roster, and I think a lot of people are going to have fun with it. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. And again, just the aesthetic is really cool. But gameplay wise, I'm enjoying it. And I look forward to finally having a game that I can just kind of mindlessly play without too much thought while I do work. So I'll be looking forward to that. But for now, I must leave things there. Thank you for those that stuck around to the end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Please let me know down in the comments below what you think of Honkai Star Rail. Are you intrigued by it at all? Is the gameplay just not for you? Let me know down in the comments. I'm legitimately intrigued by other people's opinions on stuff like this. But alas, I've been James, the Mayor of Jamestown. And until next time, where hopefully I will do some more of this, goodbye.